everyone, welcome to Game Culture. This is the show that I talk about mythology, and folklore that isn't games and pretty much media itself. I'm your host, Kaminari Farron, and today is Halloween. One of my favorite holidays of the year because 1, you get to dress up as some awesome costumes. 2, you get to hear scary stories and creepypastas. And 3, free candy. I'm with the free candy and dressing up and probably get free Chipotle, but I digress. Anyway, I have a special kind of episode because this one is actually my personal theory and it works well since it's Halloween, or where the Irish that I am in is called Samhain, which is a holiday or festival of the ending of our final harvest. Now, since it's also the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, why not I get onto with that theory? Because this theory is awesome because, come on, it's Pokemon. And I've seen and hear every single weird Pokemon theory as well. And the theory I'm speaking of is the ghost girl in Luminose City in Pokemon X and Y is not a girl at all, or a ghost girl, but a fairy. A Banshee, no less. So, let's get down to it, shall we? This is going to be fun. Banshee. What is a Banshee, to be honest? A Banshee is an Irish fairy, mainly a female kind, in what we call the Seelie Court, or pretty much the summer court. Their main purpose is to scream and to bellow as a sign of someone has died, mainly in probably in noble Irish families or notable Irish families, those with an O, a Mick, or a Mac. They come in all different sizes and different forms, sometimes as an old woman, sometimes as a mother, or sometimes as a young maiden. Now, why do I pick Banshee over anything else? Believe it or not, Pokemon has history with ghost girls. And that's because it all started in Generation 4, where you go into the old chateau and you try to find Rotom, even though you see the ghost girls. This happens again in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, where it is a crucial event to get another Pokemon, which is Cresselia. Yeah, you saw her on one of the bridges, and you follow her to this little town and a little mansion, and you go through it, and it probably explains a whole lot. Now, why do I pick Banshee? It makes a whole lot of sense because it's Kalos, and Kalos is technically a Celtic kind of state, even though it's based on France. Remember my past series, or my past video that had something to do with the Celtic influence in Pokemon, and this makes a whole lot of sense. Anyway, why the Hex Girl? That's kind of easy to explain because it's the only NPC that is very close to ghost type Pokemon, dark type Pokemon, sometimes psychic. She's always pretty much in cahoots with the fairy girl, or the fairy type trainer, and she's one half of what we call the mysterious duo, or the mysterious sisters. And Supernatural always follows this person around. I remember playing it in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. This always have this character who you see close to Malpire, or on your way to another town just to fight the living crap out of either Magma or Aqua. But then again, I digress. Remember, Banshees can be in many different forms, and the Hex Maniac being a young girl and all that makes perfect sense. But why not I tell you who is she's after, maybe it makes a whole lot of sense. She's after Lysandre. Actually, she's telling us, the player, that Lysandre is dead or is about to die. Now, one of the prominent things that I've learned so far in my research of this particular Pokemon, this particular theory, and this particular fairy, it's because of why did she choose us to tell us someone has died. And that is because we're not really close to the person who has died. The people who are very close to the dying or the soon-to-be deceased, such as Lysandre, or members of Team Flare, and it's because we're very close. They can't hear it at all. It's like they can't hear the screams and the moans and the groans. That is what the Banshee does. And I swear to God, it hit me like a ton of bricks. To be honest, you find this Pokemon on one of the buildings left of Route 14 before you go into, I call it, the fall area. And you go to the second floor and she says, and I quote, "You are not the one." The reason why she said that, because you are not the one that is doomed to die. Easy enough. But why she hangs out with Luminose? Why Luminose City? Team Flare. And who leads Team Flare is Lysandre. Now, I think the two main characters in Team Flare makes a whole lot of sense. That they're not chosen for death, but more of a type of demise. Now, Molteshi says that she was a former member of Team Flare. So she is safe. She's like, quit. It's like, oh, screw you, Lysandre. I don't want to be a part of your world. But Dr. Zerostic, he got arrested. And maybe he's going to get shanked in jail. Who knows? I mean, what? Anyway, now also it is stated by Lysandre he is related to the royal family of Kalos, like some 300 years ago. And the only character who is related to, besides the younger brother of the king, is the king himself, making him a distant family member of the king himself, aka AZ. And it also makes a whole lot of sense because he can't hear it either, but he captured AZ anyway. So yeah, it makes total sense. Anyway, let's point out that what I mentioned before was prominent families such as last names with O's, Mix, and Max. In Gaelic, pretty much in Celtic or Gaelic mythology, these are pretty much noble families, even though the term noble is very watered down. And these are mainly because they're either warrior families or merchant families, or, like I said, kind of like rich higher ups, because merchants are considered kind of like rich. And Lysandre, being part of a prominent family, we don't know his last name, he has his hands on really awesome technology, like creating the communicators that you use throughout the entire Pokemon X and Y game. And maybe it makes a whole lot of sense with the other products that we've used in the past. But why they're after, like said, like Pokeball Mansion or Factory or whatever, I think it's just collect like the legendary Pokemon, and like all evil team leaders, their fate can be quite interpreted. And I believe that that final battle that you had with Lysandre is actually the result of the encounter of the Ghost Girl of Luminose City. And yes, we don't know really what happened, but my theory just suggested that he died in the explosion along with some of his followers. And the only followers that did not touch with death was Dr. Zorosic and Malta from the Elite Four, who's also the news anchor woman in Kalos. And I'm sorry to say, here's a question. Does this theory make any sense to you? Please tell me on the comments below. I would love to hear from what you have to say about it. Anyway, this is Kaminari, and have a wonderful Halloween. Bye. I want to thank these people for these wonderful images I've been using, especially Derek Feicher, who does the music, especially because it's his music, and I want to give him a shout out. Check out his channel for wonderful music. If you want to use music, make sure you get permission first and all of that, and these are pretty much my sightings. Anyway, stay tuned for the end of the video for at least a preview of my next game culture video. You might be surprised at why this pretty much Pokemon is getting hated and why it looks more like a seal than a siren. Anyway, I'm going to leave you at that. Anyway, thank you. Bye-bye. Have everyone noticed about Popular's strange evolution line? How it becomes a pop star and a mermaid all into one? What if I tell you that this particular evolution line is not actually a siren, but more like a mermaid or a Selkie from mythology? Come back next on Games Culture. We'll learn more about Popular's evolution line and inspiration made them into what they are today.